Welcome everyone to Every Woman Empowered's Chit Chat. And I'm your host, Shauna J. Cerniak, the founder of Every Woman Empowered. And alongside is my co-host,
Neela Janu, certified laughter yoga instructor, founder of Let's Laugh Yeg, and happiness ambassador for Every Woman Empowered.
And unfortunately today we could not have our other co-host, Jani Galarno, international artist, with us. But we do have our special guest, Blaise Hunter, fertility expert. Welcome, Blaise.
Thank you.
Yay!
We're so excited to have you here. I know the word fertility expert has so much more different meaning to you and what you bring to others. And I'm so excited to explore what exactly you do and how you bring so much to other people. So thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it is my mission to expand the definition of fertility. It's not just about birthing babies, but about being fertile in our lives. So that's basically, it's a different type of expertise. I teach people how to birth their dreams, goals, passions, purpose, books, their voices, as well as discover peace amongst infertility.
And that is so important. I love that taking that word and changing what it totally means, because you're right. So much is around the word, pregnancies, babies, and that sort of thing. But my goodness, there's so much more with that word that we are doing in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
And you are truly bringing it to the forefront. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your recent 2020 Most Inspirational Women Award.
Wow.
Thank you. Yes, it's, sometimes in the muck of 2020 and COVID, there is that diamond, right, that shines and lifts you up. So that was a really good boost, was to receive that award and just be noticed for what work I'm doing in this world, right?
So tell us a little bit about that award. Sorry, Neela, tell us a little bit about that award, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's with the Universal Women's Network. A friend of mine nominated me back in the summertime. And the the interesting thing and the challenging thing for this process is that then the nominee has to actually submit their own package. So you have to write 5,000 words of your own story and really own it. And really step into that spotlight and own all the good stuff and the bad stuff and the learning lessons, and just package it together and say, I am deserving of this. And I am a woman of inspiration. And I think that's what the founder, Monica Kretschmer, has made in this whole network, is really that women step into that and own who they are, flaws and all. And that's all what I'm about. And so I accepted the nomination. I put it all out there, out my whole story and all my grief and trauma and how I'm working through that. And I won one of the categories.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I think there was over 50 winners, but there was over 300 nominated across Canada. So this was really special that I was in a company of all of these established, talented, accomplished women. So I really share it with all of them, because how do you pick?
Well, that's just it, right? Congratulations.
Well, you're so deserving, right?
Thank you.
To be a winner, yeah. And you have been through a lot. I was researching you a little bit and was wondering if you can kind of share how you're helping others blaze the trail to overcome challenges, disappointments, and fear, so that you can be that heroine in your own life.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing is that I'm on this mission to talk about vulnerability. I was the girl that projected the perfect mask, and I was always trying to be approved. So I worked on being an overachiever and being validated and approved on the outward. So I worked very hard on the outward layer, but that was never working on my soul. And so I needed to back it up a little bit, peel back some masks, some layers, and see myself for who I was, flaws and all, but also let other people that are looking at me see the real girl, that it's not this just perfectionist, masked up girl that's got a go-getter that accomplishes everything and type A, right? I wanted to really show who I was. No one really knew who I was. I didn't know who I was. And I think many women can relate to that, because when you ask yourself, who am I? And then you step in and become a mother and you're like, now who am I? I'm lost in my children. I'm lost in my marriage. I'm lost in my job, but those are all arms of me. They're not who I am. So I had to kind of strip it all away. And a really amazing story, I'll try and keep it really brief, of how it happened. But I had battled self-hatred my whole life. I pretended that I had it all together, but it was all internal cutting, emotional cutting. And I developed a rare autoimmune disease, going through a very hard trauma in my 20s. My dad went through mental health problems and depression, and he faked his own death.
Wow.
And he returned home, but we've never spoken it about again. So I never actually processed that trauma, got through it. I just like masked it up and went forward. And 2 years later, I developed this very rare autoimmune disease. Fast forward, I still, managed to function in my life, got married, had a child, still had a career, but I was still very ill. And I experienced my first miscarriage, and I was devastated. I think I was already an unworthy mother or woman, and now I was an unworthy mother. I felt like my baby rejected me. And so it was just this spiral of depression. And I came across this amazing post of this woman healing minister going to be in Edmonton. And I just felt drawn to go see her for some reason. I didn't know her, but I thought I recognized her name. So I Googled her, and turns out I had a connection to her name. Her parents were also ministers back 30 years ago, and I had seen them in person in Saskatchewan, and they had passed on. This woman has taken over their ministry, their daughter, and I just felt compelled to go see this woman. And I said a prayer. I just said, God, I need a sign that I'm not going to die. And that was it. That was true unmasked vulnerability, that I just made that internal plea, being like, I need a sign that there's still purpose for me, and this isn't the end of the road, and this isn't how my story ends. So I arrived there with my mom. I made her drive me. I was too sick to drive. And she starts talking, and I'm in the front row because I'm not there for the back. I am there to get something that night, right? And she starts speaking, and all of a sudden I'm loud in my head, like I'm not even listening to her, where I'm like, God, I need that sign. I swear I will not leave here. I will stay in this chair all night if I have to, but I'm not walking out of here without my sign tonight. And the woman all of a sudden was like, hang on, I need to stop the entire service. Someone is drawing on me so much, I can't continue. And everyone is like, it's like so silent, you can hear a pin drop, right? And then she walks over to me and looks me right in the eyes and said, God hears your cry. He sees your pain. Your tears will end, joy will come, and you will write a book about it.
Oh my goodness. Like, wow.
I'm like, okay, I think that was my sign.
Yeah. I don't know if you could have gotten any bigger of a sign than that.
Right.
Wow.
So that was the huge catalyst that totally changed the trajectory of my life, was going from a very depressed, lonely, no purpose woman into this fierce Blaise the trail, pick up your sword and rise through the ashes and, breathe fire and show that for my daughter, that no matter what challenges and setbacks you have, you can continue on and push through and be resilient in that and be your own hero and be the heroine of your life. So that's how I published my book, and how I became Blaise the Trail in consulting is that. It was that one defining moment in my life.
And what an incredible.
So crazy how it's just like that one moment that you just need to sit and listen, like ask for it, but actually sit there and listen and wait for that catalyst to show up.
Yeah, and I find too that, when we're going through our journey, we don't, when we look back, we see how much we've grown and achieved. But when we're in it, we don't really see, that slow growth, that slow working forward, and that desire for more. And, here you went through all this trauma in your youth, in your adult life. But yet look at, through all that trauma, the learning and the growth and where you are today and what you are doing for others. That's incredible. That's incredible, Blaise. Good for you. Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Another question for you. So, how do we as women who are constantly bombarded with these messages about how we're not perfect. You know, you're seeing the perfect parts of everybody on social media. That's all that they're putting out there. How do we come to a place where we can embrace our flaws, be vulnerable, and you know, find the beauty in those imperfections that make us who we are?
It takes that commitment right off the bat that I want to decide to love me. You are the greatest love of your life. So you better start now treating yourself as the greatest love, because women, we are emotional cutters. And women all over the place say, I would never cut myself. But every toxic thought we say in that mirror is literally cutting our heart, cutting our inner child. So I try and bring that visual, because this is so important. This is vital. This isn't just woo-woo stuff. This is like legit. This is a matter of life and death for ourselves and for our next generation, to start loving ourselves and owning that, and owning our identity and our worth. And our scale doesn't dictate our worth, and the size of our waist doesn't define our beauty, and men don't define our worth. And once we can take some of those labels off and take all of those masks off and look at yourself in the mirror and just say, I am enough, and I am loved.
Preach.
Right? And I have purpose, and no one else gets to define that for me. I define the rules, and that's the whole part of being a rebel, is I'm defining this now. I get to decide. No one else gets to tell my story, right?
Exactly. And I want to see that so much in our youth, because if we can hit that in our not just our females, but our males, like get them while they're still in school and instill that. Could you imagine where they will be as adults? You know, if they had that support system and that belief system. There's just too much social media and just too much negativity out there. And I love your message. It's a powerful message, and we have to love ourselves first, because if we don't, who is going to do it for us? We can't
they're just
expect
going to
others
believe
to love
you.
us. Yes.
Yeah, they'll just believe what you're doing.
Exactly.
And so we don't realize that we're teaching people how to treat us. We're teaching our children how to teach men and women, teach themselves. And that was another profound defining moment when I was looking at my 3-year-old daughter, being like, how am I going to get her to be 12 and not diet and not think she's too fat and be totally defined by her purpose with a boy, and, you know, struggle with all these challenges that we see in our schools. And it was just like light bulbs, like, haha, her biggest role model, her mom, is standing in the mirror saying, you're too fat. You just need to eat a salad, go run, you know, diet, crash this, detox this, cleanse this. Well, what do you think she's going to do? She's going to mimic that. So her biggest role model has to start practicing what she preaches.
The person that's right in front of her every day. Right.
And that same goes with dad too. It's a combo. Whoever's in your household, you need to walk in that and show it. Like, I do, we do, you do. Right. I can't expect my little kid to go be fire breathers if I'm lacking purpose.
Yeah.
I can't expect her to walk in that pit of, you know, all these challenges coming at her, and I don't do it myself, and I'm the adult. So it's like, we got to hold the line, parents. Yeah. We got to start towing the line.
Exactly.
Well, and you instill those beliefs early, and it just stays with them through their whole life. And that it creates that ripple effect, right? The people that they're surrounding themselves with, the friends and associates, that has that impact on them. So you don't even understand how big
you don't. And you don't have to be so, you know, always verbalizing it. It's the energy. It's the way I carry myself. She notices that. Right. Exactly. And so she's carrying herself. It's not a way of always trying to say, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. It's just the way I handle myself, the way I go through the muck, the way I show her we go through problems, that I'm not just this perfect mom that never has issues.
Right.
I just tell her, mommy had a mistake today. This is how we fix it. Right. Like, I show her you don't have to be so hard on yourself. Like, we're human, we're going to fall, but it's about getting back up. Right.
Yes. So when you are having those hard moments, I mean, because realistically, we can't always be on. We can't always be positive and have that fire burning. Sometimes that fire starts to dim a little.
Yeah.
What do you do for yourself that maybe you can share with some of our viewers that can help them when that fire starts to dim a little?
I think women, we get it. And even if we're in that mode of personal development and affirmations, we get into the doing mode where let's do away with this problem instantly versus feeling it. So I have gone through a lot of trauma in my life because it carried so long because I never felt it and dealt with it. So the big thing I can encourage people is feel it. Sit in the mess. Allow yourself to feel what's happening. It's not a bad thing if you cry for hours. You got to let it out. That's a release. Otherwise, if you're holding that, that is going to be suppressed and then affect other parts of your body and your emotional and mental health. So it's about acknowledging the mess,
Right.
that it's there. And women, we want to get OCD and clean it up. We want to drown it out with alcohol. We want to exhaust it with exercise. We want to get rid of it. But
Right.
you can't get rid of it until you deal with it. Right.
Exactly.
So that's just, I have messy days and I sit in the mess and it's glorious mess and it's the journey. And I've had to let all of that go. The perfectionist mentality, like I don't got it together today, but that's okay. Cause I know I will not quit.
Exactly.
So tomorrow I will try again and get back up. And I fall many, many times and I'm not perfect and I'm not always raw, but hey, I'm still here. So
Exactly.
that's the key.
And it's a choice.
It really is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge choice to decide to get up and dust yourself off and do it, or go back in the stew, right? So, it's about making those choices every single day when we wake up and say, okay, let's move forward. Let's bring it on, life, because it is a short life. And if we don't start working on ourselves now, it's just going to be the same stuff that'll just be hanging on. And if you don't release it, it's not much there to your life if you're carrying all that burden and unnecessary garbage on your shoulders.
Totally. And I think my biggest thing that I always go to is my favorite quote from Benjamin Franklin. And he said, most people die at 25 and don't get buried until 75.
Wow.
Ooh.
And that means emotional death, purpose death. And I'm facing death with my health. And I fight for my life every day. And I sure don't want to die emotionally. So that's why it's so imperative for me. That's why I have such passion behind it, because I don't want to die. I don't want to be a dead walking person for the next 50 years. I want to live. I want to have purpose. And I want to show my daughter you can have purpose amongst the pain and setbacks too, and still be happy and fulfilled amongst that, right?
Exactly.
And really, like, who are you holding all of that in for? Like, that's not doing you any good, right? And the more you suppress it and distract yourself and just not feel into it, it's just going to explode at some point, right? And
Yes.
it can lead to a lot of health issues as well, right? So as much as, I'm kind of known as being the happiness person, I still feel into whatever's going on, and try to understand it, but not put that pressure on trying to understand it.
Right.
Exactly. It's just letting go, and like letting go of my control of it, letting go of what I thought it would look like, letting go of all of that. Like I thought I'm almost 40 and I still want my second baby. I'm not letting go of that dream, but I'm letting go of the attachment of that is the only thing that defines me as mother. Right. So I'm becoming a mother of purpose and a book doula, and I birth things and I continually be fertile because I got things to produce. And that's what women need to know. It's not just about birthing babies. If you can't do that one thing, that doesn't mean you're not a mother. Doesn't mean you're not fertile. It just means maybe shift focus for a while and still birth things. Right.
Yes. I love that.
So please give us your most powerful battle cry, the one that just gets you going.
My battle cry.
Do you need that sword now? Do you need the sword?
Yeah.
Well, I say, it's just like the oyster. We feel like all of these things coming at us and we're like, why me? And I want to clamp down and no pain. We don't want to feel pain. So the oyster is a great example because the parasite that comes in, the oyster comes, oh, come on, little guy. I know what to do with you. I don't clamp down. I don't resist. I draw that little parasite in and I coat it and I coat it and I coat it and I coat it over and over until it becomes my pearl. So I encourage everyone, whatever you're facing today, coat that parasite, coat that grit, become gritty within and allow yourself to draw your sword every day and breathe fire.
Love it, Blaise. Love it. Oh my goodness. That is awesome. Unfortunately, we're coming to a close and I could just keep talking to you, all day. How can people find you on social media to get your sage advice and to help them go forward?
Yeah, blaisehunter.com is my website, BLAISE hunter.com. All my social media handles are Blaise the Trail, Blaise with an S again. That's my podcast. It's everywhere online. And you can contact me. I help people write their books with their speaking voices, their speeches, and just their business brands, and as well as helping discover peace amongst infertility. I've had those 3 miscarriages, but I am not barren. And I can teach you how to work through that and find peace amongst the pain.
That is amazing. Thank you so much, Blaise, for being on the show. We wish you the best 2021, and we know you're going to be blazing some incredible trails ahead. Thank you so much for being a part of Every Woman Empowers Chit Chat, and wishing you a beautiful day. Take care, Blaise.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you.